Always for us all. So I'm going to see if I can't share and make this available. I think if we can follow along, that has potential, I think, for inviting a little clarity, but we'll see. So now I'm going to check. I can't see you guys now, but I'm going to check to see if you can see that screen. Got the screen. Okay. So here we are. You're going to see the notes I take, because I'm going to say honestly that rebirth and karma for me has been a subject I haven't approached often. I haven't taught often. I do reflect on. Here, if we could start recording, I think this would be good timing.
It is already recording.
Oh, thank you. Because I can't see when I'm looking at this screen. But I'm very certain about the karmic weight. Somebody might say momentum, karmic momentum. We're going to talk about karma as a momentum rather than as a self, just to give us a little more. And if you were reading chapter 6, you might have seen that idea that karma is a continuation. I wrote responsibility here, as well as an opportunity to place the mind with intention, on purpose, towards the good. And then we recognize that many of those factors are in fact a part of our neuroscience definition of mindfulness. With intention, on purpose, in the present moment. And then John, who wrote Kabat-Zinn, who wrote the first definition, said without judgment. We have since advanced that to with compassion, with care, with kindness. So paying attention, directing the mind on purpose, with intention, in the present moment, only now, and I say towards the good. Why? I'm not sure I can get compassionate right then. Maybe I can't. I can't make it all the way over the bridge, but I can invite direction. I can invite momentum, propulsion, inspiration, right? At least even setting the aspiration. I can't even get it yet, but I can go, I'm going to stop being an asshole. This is our practice this week, at least by shutting up, at least by recognizing the contraction, at least by, right, not furthering to the extent that I am capable, not always, harm. Harm to who? Harm to me. Because as we look at rebirth and karma, we're going to get very, very clear about the level of harm and suffering we are. That momentum, those habits, that mind is propagating for you and then for others. So we get this so far. So let's look at the notes. I'm going to stay tight on the note because we're going to divide this chapter. It was so long. It was, 20 something or more pages long. I want to take it a piecemeal so we understand what we're talking about. And so good morning to everyone. I'm going to look at chat just to make sure I'm not missing some big thing. Okay. So the words karma and rebirth, generally offensive, unless we are blaming someone. And then we love the words because then we go, karma's a bitch. Oh, too bad for you. Really, that very statement is propagating something for you don't want. So let me start there. The real karma is happening right now, but it's to you in a way you don't want. You are not going to come out of this without suffering, and it's certain. So I want to just start right there. So we use karma as a blame tool, as a punishment, as a meh. What do? Their karma. That's what they got to do. And then we have to come right back home, recognizing that we have now propagated a path, an energy, a continuum, an impulsion that is going to cause nothing but harm to you. I want to make sure we get this. So when we practice with don't be an asshole, it's only for first you, that you are not propagating harm and suffering in this quality of mind that we're going to be talking about. So we all clear about that. This is nothing about anybody else. Nobody is here to assess it. The only benefit of recognizing karma in its relationship to others is one thing: compassion for the causes and conditions that they have struggled with, just like we are, that they have struggled with, that have led them to this momentum, this continuation, this habit of mind, this certain suffering. It is certain suffering. No one has to say, do you think that's because of all? Because the answer is always yes. And we're going to read today, learn today, that is not who that person is in essence. It is a reflection simply of causes and conditions. And then if we really are paying attention, we will say throughout all time, wouldn't we? We wouldn't just say because their mother and their uncle and their douchebag siblings, I think Tanya was talking about that one Saturday, right? No, not even close, because none of that is solid, fixed, or stable. So then we go, but I want a certain answer. I want a cause. I want one cause. I want to get rid of that cause because I just want to get out of suffering. Well, I love this. Why? There is a cause. It's right here in you. You can change, direct. You have will, volition, effort right here for you. So when everybody says, I don't want to be in this mess, I'm ecstatic because I know that we all have the potential right now to make that mind and that propulsion different by familiarity, says the sutta, recognition, and capacity, which is only ours to the extent that we know it, to change course, to understand and reconcile, to go in a different direction, to stop. Remember what we're practicing? We're stopping being an asshole. Just stopping. Just not going to think that. What are you going to do? Sing Mary Had a Little Lamb. Wouldn't you? It would be an improvement. Mary had a little lamb. Let's all sing it. Why? Because that intentioned, directed propulsion is kinder, is more open, is more receptive, is more loving. That's why. And there's nothing like a nursery rhyme to help us with that. Could we do that? Could we do that instead of a prayer? Sure. Would it be as valuable? Possibly. Especially if that was something you sang in a moment of openness, in a moment of ease or joy or connectedness, right? And what are we saying? What is the whole practice? recognize how and where this mind is, and make a skillful, beneficial, timely, honest decision about it. Do I continue or do I hesitate? Okay, so here we go. So the opening aspiration I just wrote is, may this teaching be received not as a belief, because we get hung up a lot. Now I have to believe in karma. Now I have to believe in rebirth. Not at all, but as inquiry. This is the key. We're just going to investigate, where is this true? Where is this not as true? May it reduce our fears, deepen our compassion, because it's the only way to know we're going in the right direction. This is it. We will be greater in connection, greater in compassion, greater in assuming responsibility. I'm going to take it and say, this moment is determined by one. That's that slogan we often laugh about in the Lojong slogans, driving all blames into one. No, the opportunity to take responsibility for the course of this moment. Is that exciting? The opportunity to take, not as judgment, blame, demand, but as possibility, as love, maybe we could say. And then we realize, I did it as I was reflecting yesterday, how dead asleep I am in so many moments where I know the truth of this and I do not act from it. And I know it. I mean, like, girl, know it. And still, blah, 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 blah. Often the thing, the brain over here. Yeah, my friend goes, yeah, isn't she? Then I go, yeah, she is. He's, right? Just right out of my mouth. I don't even believe it. I don't even believe it's true. I don't even, and yet, just get caught in the swell of now the collective, right? Karma. Okay, so we get this. And whatever is wisdom or understanding that comes today, may this contribute to the liberation of all beings, as we always say. We hold that aspiration because we've already gone over aspiration. We hold that aspiration tight because just the aspiration, remember what we said, by itself is going to propagate good momentum. Just reciting the aspiration, may all beings benefit. Remember how we tried to just, may we, everything, the good news, the bad news, everything that's occurring, may we begin with the aspiration itself. And the teachings say this is already a signal, directional, and path for the heart mind. The aspiration itself. I didn't realize one thing. I didn't say one less stupid thing than I would have said yesterday. And yet I'm cultivating a quality of heart mind that matters. And then I say, what else are you doing besides this? And I mean it. What are you doing? You're so busy. Doing what? And I can't figure it out for me either. So I can't figure it out. What are we doing if not these things with intent, with aspiration, remembering, reciting, and doing it again and again? I don't know. I just know every moment we do it is better. That's the part I know for sure. And I can feel it. And so can you. In you and in others. Okay, why the Buddha taught rebirth and karma. By the way, this would be considered a sentinel teaching, not partial, not, well, if you don't get it, it doesn't matter. It says if you don't get it, it matters a lot because you have very little motivation to do it otherwise if you don't get this. That every moment of propagating a quality of heart mind is the ground from which the next moment is being experienced. If you don't know that the quality of your own heart mind is the ground from which the next and this one is experienced. So you're going, I want to get out of suffering. And I'm saying that's as easy as right now. Just right now. Because we can right now begin to cultivate a quality of mind as we do in our practice. It's why we practice, to remember that potential, that we can take the shitty day and turn it into beautiful. By what? The quality of our own heart mind. By our appreciation, our gratitude, our care, our patience, our wisdom, all available right here. Why the Buddha taught rebirth and karma. Rebirth and karma are often among the most difficult. We just said that. It sounds metaphysical, moralistic, or culturally irrelevant. Like, I don't know. That is not a word I grew up with. Why are we looking at this? Because it's here and relevant to your happiness, your ease right now. Sudargi reminds us that the Buddha did not teach these principles to explain anything metaphysical or universal. That was not his interest. In fact, he frequently did not answer questions that were metaphysically based. It is, however, relevant to this very present moment and your very heart mind in this moment here, this human experience right now. He invested those two teachings in that, not later, not when you're gone, but right now. And if we forget that, we don't have the motivation again to go, where am I placing this mind? What is its result? What is its propagation? And how do I influence it? Okay. At Heart, Karma, and Rebirth address one essential question. I don't know if it's one. Why does suffering continue for me this moment, and what can I do to stop it? I think it's the most relevant question. What's contributing to my upset, distress, unhappiness, disease right now, and what can I do to stop it? I can't think of a bigger question or a bigger interest, right? The end of suffering, says the Buddha, and its end. These teachings affirm that our lives are not random, neither are they predetermined. Be careful. We don't want to jump into, we're going to rest in the middle way. Not random, not predetermined, not either. Remember, not one, not two, and some confluence of what has come before, what has yet to come, and that flow, energy, momentum, continuity that we have some impact in. Liberation is not accidental. I really wanted to make sure we're clear about that. Why are they having such a good time? How did they get that house? But it doesn't matter. It isn't the house. How about all those trips? Doesn't matter. It's not the trips. If you're seeing someone in true ease, in true joy, in true happiness, in true abiding, it is because of the quality of their own heart mind. There is no house. There is no outfit. There is no trip. And yes, they can all be lovely, but they are not the cause. They may, in fact, be the result. They may. And it is not for us to say. We don't assess that for others. Here's Joseph Goldstein. I decided to bring in some teachers to help us. You can treat karma and rebirth as teachings about responsibility. I say opportunity. Teachings about opportunity and the privilege that we are the directors of our path, that we can decide how to use everything that is occurring. He says responsibility. They point to the fact that our lives matter and what we do, think, speak, the quality of our own heart mind matters. And nobody saw it. Right? Nobody. You look silent over there. It all matters. Clearing common misunderstandings. I thought this seemed important. We already said karma is not fate. It's not punishment. It's not predetermined. And it is a momentum of causes and conditions well beyond your birth and well beyond the birth of your parents. Well beyond it is, right? And there is some influence and confluence. There are conditions that are relevant. Rebirth is not a soul. It is not a being. It is not an entity that travels from body to body. This is hard for us to understand, and I sometimes react when I hear it. I grip because people say, oh, well, that's right, the continue. And yes, influence, yes, causal, conditional, yes, the love I have experienced is relevant now. It is relevant now, and it doesn't mean my father's in the corner. And he is everywhere. And it is also true. Why? A real cause and condition, a real impact, relevant to my life and in my own heart mind right now. And be careful about this. And then the continuation is I'm going to be reborn as another thing, and then another thing, and then another thing. And the Diana will continue. It is a deep misunderstanding. It will not continue like this, with an identity like this. Will the love continue? It is certain. Will the errors, the mess ups continue? It is certain. It is certain. It will have influence. Will it contribute to the end of suffering? All that love, yes. Will it cause suffering? All that confusion, all that greed, all that aggression? It will. Can I begin with understanding that and then wanting very intentionally to draw more towards the one than the other? I do. Right? That is true. And is that in its continuation? And the answer is it is. When karma is misunderstood as fate or predetermined, it becomes meaningless because then we all give it the, so what do you do? Right? It's passive, it's deadened, it's, well, there's nothing to do. This couldn't be further from the teaching. Couldn't be further from the teaching. The teaching says you have everything to do with it. There's infinite possibility called this moment, and this moment, and the quality of your own heart mind and its intention, practice, and path. And that, what do you do? That fatalistic model is very dangerous. It is very dangerous. It leads us, can't you feel it, to helplessness, hopelessness, and self-loathing. Very dangerous. It is not true. It is not true. This is not happening to you because you were bad. This is the solidifying nature of most religions. What happens to you is because you're good, or what happens to you is because you are bad. And there is a sliver of reality where you place the mind is relevant, but it does not make you. First of all, there is no solid you, and it does not make you then solidly good, bad, or otherwise. And it is not simply arising by what? Your motivation. It is arising by the infinite causes and conditions and your motivation. And we can't take it off because then we go back into the fatalism. Well, what do? This is my karma. My entire family were thieves. Well, I was solidly going to be one. What was I going to do? And it's very easy to default, isn't it? Don't you hear people say this all the time? My mother was a bitch too. I hear this about twice a week from some, well, I know I was a bitch, but my mother was a bitch too. That's the reason. No, that was a cause. It was a contributor, certainly. And your recognition of it is an immense opportunity because you know the suffering of that. and you couldn't want to propagate it. It wouldn't be possible, right? So not fatalistic. It affirms moral responsibility. That's from Bhikkhu Bodhi. I wouldn't use the word moral because I think we can get in a fixed moral compass where this is the right thing and this is the wrong thing. I think what he means is towards the end of suffering and towards the benefit of all beings. We're going to use that as the definition, his definition of moral, not right, wrong, good, bad. It's dangerous. And we're deciding, right, towards the benefit or not towards the benefit in any moment. It affirms responsibility, my word, opportunity, while denying any permanent, solid, fixed identity or self. Karma is intention, very key. We're going to practice that this week. The Buddha defined karma very clearly and very narrowly. It is intention actioned. It is intention as the seed which then grows in other thoughts, then words, and then actions. So that karma, though it is an appearance, it is not a solid thing, can very quickly become actions, very quickly unattended or attended, can become generosity or thievery, right? The very same condition. Isn't that amazing? The very same arising condition can become benefit and then look like generosity, or can become the reason we now take from others. Remember my story about Target and the pillows? I went, well, they're thieves. So what if I stick these in my trunk and just take off? I had rationalized by virtue of the wrong thing, propagated well, I can do it too. Why not? It's not going to hurt them. Whether true or not the momentum of this is going to lead to certain suffering, and we'll look at that in a moment. Karma is created first in the mind. It is a quality of mind and a quality of holding the intention, not just the stated intention, but how it is held in the heart mind. So we can set right intention as a demand. Well, not so great, is it? We can set right intention as beyond a demand as a perfection. I've got to do it. I've got to do it like this. I've got to do it every time. We're guaranteeing suffering here, right? So we took a beautiful thing called right intention, right effort. We added this beautiful thing called motivation, and then we turned it quickly into judgment, demand, harshness, criticism, perfectionism, and we're doing it pretty continuously. It is one of the reasons I think we struggle with practice, because the only thing practice really shows you is all the places you are not here, all the places you are not open, all the places you are not yet awake. And then we go, oh, who wants to? Never mind. I don't need this. And we quit. And then we quit over and over and over because we cannot bear ourselves with that quality of mind. And Westerners are particularly good at it, I might add. We're very perfectionistic, very demanding. And we have the assistance then of the Judeo-Christian narrative. Motivation, attitude, and mental habits are karmically decisive. Karmically decisive, not random, predictive, not predetermined, but causal. You can go, and we're going to do that a little bit this week. Here's Sharon Salzberg. The most powerful karmic force is not what we do, but the intention, and I would add the aspiration, with which we do it. I trust this completely. Why? I will go where people will not otherwise go, simply because of the right intention, and I can feel it. There's only openness here. There's only goodwill. There's only the wish for benefit. And so I go. And I don't worry about, well, what happens then and how does it go? And then I also have done, uh-oh, this doesn't look good. That's usually my fear in place more than the circumstance. And I know distinctly the feel of this as well. Like, oh, I'm going to say that or do that or offer that, or, and the grip happens. The very best karmic seed work is with recognition. Look at it, hold it, create pause, space, hold yourself in it. Go, what's this? What is this? It seems like a good thing, and yet there's a hesitation. What might that be? And this is our mindfulness practice, essential to understanding and working with karma and rebirth. Cause and effect without moral judgment. Karma is not a system of reward and punishment. It is not that solid. It is impersonal, operating according to the laws of cause and effect. Like gravity or fire, it is a natural law. Word I want us to remember. It is a natural law. It is not an idea. It is an occurring, like gravity, like fire that will burn you. It is a natural law. We do not understand it this way, do we, at all? And we're going to change it is a natural law occurring that we can observe, inquire into, and then make skillful decisions in response. Actions bring results according to their nature, not because anyone decides that you are deserving or not deserving, including you. Including you. It is actually larger than even your own heart mind in relation. Knowing your own heart mind, however, is the very best directional for your skillful action as it relates to karma. Ajahn Sumedho, a student of Ajahn Chah, along with Jack Kornfield, for those of you who don't know Ajahn Sumedho, the sweetest guy, reminds me of E.T. He looks a little like him. Karma is not a system of blame. It's a natural law. There it goes. Learn it, and you're free to work with it. And then you will be more skillful. Rebirth is happening now. This one is very important to me. This was one of my biggest points. Rebirth is not tomorrow. It is not your next lifetime. It is not if you get it right. It is happening this very moment. The rebirth is all the causes and conditions, the karmic seeds, in their interplay, confluence, and interaction with this heart mind right now. So if you can imagine all that happening, all that has come before to this moment with this available heart mind. Rebirth is this moment. Can we get this? This moment, not next moment, where we often like to place rebirth. And then we get sleepy and sloppy right there. I don't have to worry about this one. It's the next one. And then we don't because we're in the next one. And then we don't because we're waiting for the next one. And then we're at the time of death going, uh-oh, I blew that. It was this one, and then this one, and then this one. The only one that you have to worry about karma and rebirth in is this very moment. Can everybody write that somewhere? Karma and rebirth, relevant this very moment, not the next, because this table you set in this moment is the reality in the next. The table you set in this moment is the reality that you are propagating for the next and the next and the next. So let's be careful because we have a very strong misunderstanding about this. It is not about future lives. It is about your life this moment. Each mental state becomes a world we inhabit. We call them the realms. The realms are not a place. The realms, the God realm, the godlike realm, the demigod realm, the ghost realm, the right hungry ghost realms, the animal realms, the hell realms, are qualities of heart mind that you are in as if it was a whole world. And so know where we are inhabiting. Know this world that you are resting in and that you are creating. Well, co-creating is probably a better word. Anger, fear, kindness, awareness, these are the worlds we are living in. Each mental state becomes a world we inhabit, says Pema. We are reborn every time we cling. Reborn every time we cling into the suffering realms. And every time we let go, we are reborn into the higher realms. Every time we cling, suffering. Every time we're in this noble work of opening and letting go. You know, we're careful about that letting go word. Opening is probably a little relevant. Rebirth without a permanent self. If there is no fixed solid identity or self, what or who is reborn? This is a common koan. No one is the answer, and everyone. All the minds you have constructed, all the moments of gripped mind, all the moments of freed mind, all the moments of contraction, all the moments of opening and expansion are right here. They're right here. And it says it is causal. It is not accidental. It is causal. That leads to this, which leads to next, right? This leads to this, which leads to that. Very, linear is not probably the best word. Causal is the truthfully best word. Causal momentum are the conditions giving rise to conditions, which give rise to conditions, which give rise to conditions, which you are awake to and able to impact, influence, and be privileged to act from every moment. This is the preciousness of this human life. I can know this and consequently determine, make a decision, how to act, how to speak, how to think, where to place mind. This avoids both eternalism, I am forever, or nihilism, once you're dead, you're gone. And they're neither true. It says both are false. Can we see that? Both eternalism and nihilism are false. They just grab two ends of a continuum, which is I stay forever. I'm this one soul traveling throughout lifetimes and to places, and or nothing. There is nothing. And the Buddha very consistently in the middle path, in the middle way, said, wrong. If you go thinking I'm going, wrong. If you think nothing's going, wrong. And that's the Heart Sutra. Sutta, the Lotus Sutta, all are saying the same thing. If you think it's only one thing, wrong. And if you think it's nothing, wrong. And can you hold in that groundless space of these interacting realities? And the answer is no. We like a solid truth. We like one. It's just like this. And it's just like this every moment. And there are a few of those, we call them dharmas. There are a few of these essential truths. And one of them is you can awaken every moment and influence all of that. That's one of the essential dharmas. You have been gifted the privilege, accorded to few, says the sutta, accorded to few in all these lifetimes. You can decide when to speak and when not to. to recognize contraction and open to it. What an opportunity in this very lifetime right now. Thich Nhat Hanh says, there is continuation, but no one continues. This is the middle way, sometimes called Madhyamaka in the Tibetan tradition, the middle path between eternalism, me forever, and nihilism, no me, nothing ever. And right, what's the answer? Wrong. Neither is correct. We're going to go on one more or two, and then we're going to sit. Karma as habitual momentum. Karma is not destiny, it is tendency. The word the Buddha used that I love is propensity. Remember that word? We loved that word. Propensity. Some causes and conditions leaning us, but not determining us. Why? There is me this moment, the awakening alive me, that, and again, me, relative, that can, this heart mind, that can go, not going to do it. I'm not eating the whole bag of caramel corn this time. I'm not going to say the thing I always say. Just that in its pause, which we're going to be taking in practice this today, this week, is can we awaken to this? Mingyu, who I love, is such a funny, lovely monk. He says, karma is not about punishment or reward. It is about familiarity, what the mind gets used to. And by the way, when we get used to it, we go to sleep to it. When we get used to it, we go to sleep to it. And then we believe the conditions and causes for both our suffering and the end of our suffering is something out there called the foggy day or the sunny day or the got this or the didn't get that. We go to sleep and then project that opportunity to all those conditions and then suffer. Solidly, certainly, we suffer. When we say something as simple as have a good day, right? Have a good day. We have to be careful because it implies the day makes you. And it is not true. Make a good day is true. And right in our very greeting, like if you are so lucky, should you be so lucky to have a good day, is wrong, right? And it's false. And then it constructs this. Well, I didn't have a good day. I had a really horrible day. And then we can go into blaming, shaming. Look how easy that is to go, well, I just heard Diana say you're determining your own day, so you're doing it to yourself. This is not an improvement, right? Remember, once again, solidified. We have to work in the groundless ground. And it's very difficult for us to do. The role of mind at death, I only wanted to say a thing about this. So Dargi goes on to say more, is that death is emphasized because the coarse mind, call it gross mind, the thoughts arising, passing, without recognizing our relationship to the mind, dissolves, and habitual tendencies remain. At the time of death, coarse thinking mind, directional mind. I'm going to put the mind here. I'm going to put it there now. Our attentional capacities will go away, leaving that momentum. Makes sense, doesn't it? Now remember that the Dalai Lama talks about this as hitting a billiard ball. And he says, depending on how you hit that ball, what the English, it's called, is on that ball has everything to do with where the ball goes. Not just how hard you hit it, not just that you had an intention for hitting it, but exactly and that momentum is certain and guaranteed. That's the natural law. It's physics, says the Dalai Lama. It isn't like, how did that happen? that it went way over there and jumped the table. No, it was exactly causal by exactly the conditions of that. And that's the Dalai Lama's explanation of karma and rebirth. And then it hits another ball and is a rebirth moment because there's all that momentum now ignited into the next and the next and the next. And that's how he talked about rebirth. The ball hits the ball, hits the ball, hits the ball. With certainty, right? With precision, with a directness, not random, not who could see it. You could see it. It takes years of practice. Roshi Joan, dying is not a moment. It is the culmination of a lifetime of habits. It is the culmination of a lifetime of habits, as well as habits towards the good, by the way. She didn't mean that in a negative way. Habits as an error. One more, and then we're going to sit. I'm not going to read that one. We'll look at it later. It's lovely. It's just that compassion can be the result of this deep teaching. Practice is liberation in the present moment. Practice is not about securing a better future. It is about freeing the moment we're in. I think I said that right. Mm-hmm. Freeing the moment you're in is where liberation is alive. It is not just like karma or rebirth, some to be achieved later understanding. It is present moment, fully here. This is the one that, as we said, sets the table for all future liberation and or what? All future suffering. And often, same moment, right? We're in this, how am I going to hold this, understand this, work with this, live with this, interact with this in a way that turns it into a moment of liberation versus collapses it from negative habits into a moment of continued suffering. Each moment of awareness reshapes karmic momentum. So you don't get to say fatalistically, again, well, that's it. Well, no, right here changes everything. Right here changes everything. I love the potential. Just the potential of that gives me ease. Like I can just wake up now, even if just the moment before I was being a asshole, as we were saying in our practice. I think I'm going to start an asshole jar. I'm going to talk about it in a minute. The future is being shaped now. This breath, this intention, this response, this interaction with both yourself and the world sets the path. Spiritual practice is not about becoming someone else. It is about befriending the conditions of our life with wisdom. And of course, we would add compassion and love. All right, I'm going to stop there. Remember, we're going to break this into some parts for ourselves because there's so much teaching here. We're going to practice now.
Hey, Di.
Yes, Chris.
Before we jump in, and I know I'm not alone, I get the practice reflection guide notes.
Yes.
I don't get these that you just went
through. You do not. These are my teacher notes. And I did hear from about 50 people that couldn't you give us those? And yes, I could actually, with the really wiser thought, why summarize this? Then you get it, you can use it or you can't use it. So I am not going to do the handout anymore. I realize it's just extra effort. I'm trying to make it easier for everyone, but I'm making it harder for me. And the truth is, how could that be good, Chris? So you're right on top of it. You did not get these. These were my notes that I decided yesterday to share and will not be, you're going to get these going forward. Easy, right? Why not? Why am I distilling that? I don't understand it either. So,
okay, I get it. Come to class.
Yes. There you go. There you have it. All right, we're going to get ready to sit. This is going to be recognizing some things in our this practice. I want to make sure we're recording because we might need this practice. And then I want to find this here so that I can read a couple things.
Yeah, the recording's on, Di.
It is, yeah. I'm not looking for that, Carrie. I'm looking for the some of the teaching language because I want to recite it during the. Thank you, thank you. I'm glad it's on because it would need to be. All right, here we go. So let's get ready to sit. And the aspiration then for this practice. May we remember that this is an inquiry, not an accomplishment. Let's start there. So you get to relax. There's nowhere else to be. What is arising is arising. Remember, it is just this moment that supports and attends to the next. We can wake up now. That's all. Let's make it easier. May we then understand how suffering continues and also how it ends from this very practice. And may whatever benefits arise today, may it benefit all beings without exception. Just beginning to let that body settle with each breath. Remember, we check in with these little contact points, the feet, knowing where the feet are. The weight in the seat. And the settled resting of the upper body all the way down to the hands. Let them all relax. And then within that bodyscape, we bring attention with intention, with a kindness, a gentleness to the breath. And watch for the habit to grip here. There's no gripping of the breath. There's simply the flow, the abiding. And we place the mind in this neutral space with intention. It is a neutralizing, if we can imagine it this way, a neutralizing of all of that karmic weight, neither leaning us towards demand, towards perfection, towards goddess, it's got to look like, it's got to be like, and neither moving us into sloth or wandery mind states. With each exhale, we begin to release and allow all that unnecessary demand, it's got to look like, be like, to go. It is only the moment we're in. We're going to see if we can't just be fully here. Now we guard the mind. This comes out of our Vipassana training. We don't let the mind wander randomly. We place it in the bodyscape, the felt sense of the aliveness of now. And in the flow of the breath is a natural guard. doesn't wander off and get in trouble. And as awareness begins to arise, remember, always here, always available, we begin to notice how one breath is a whole experience which unfolds perfectly into the next. The grip, the tightness, the tension, or the ease of any moment of breath cultivates that greater capacity in the very next. This is often called continuity, but not continuity of a self. It is more the continuity of the process of awakening, the process of aliveness, of beingness. This is how all experience, just like the breath, unfolds. All that arises, changes, and passes. You may notice a lingering quality. This is the quality of awareness itself. It is not the sensation. It is not the thought. It is not the breath. Nothing stays, and yet there is something abiding. The flow of conditions arising and passing, and that which knows them. Conditions arising, leading by natural law to the next. And you notice that this continuity is unstoppable. One breath naturally, effortlessly leading to the next. These sets of conditions propagating. You cannot stop it. You cannot hold the breath. You cannot freeze the conditions or even the quality of mind. Each arising from the conditions of the previous breath, the previous moment, the previous thought, and then also new. Can you let this continuation be in its flow, in its unfolding without identity, without the Diana or the Chris or the Libby or the Lynn attached, just arising conditions? Movement, continuation, unfolding without any permanent identity. Can we use then each breath to awaken? This then would be the idea of rebirth, this awakening, this moment, fresh, new, and with a cultivation of the continuing wisdom, love, and compassion from the next. The clear seeing leading to clear seeing. Distraction leading to distraction if it is not clearly seen. But look at the impact right here. One moment of awareness of the mind and its wandering is once again a moment of awakening. Same moment. We're going to look for just a moment then at the mind itself, not the objects or the directional attention, but the current mental state. This is going to be part of our practice this week. It is a strongly karmically influenced arising. Can you see whether the mind is tight or spacious in this moment? And can you see that there is some capacity for you to influence this very breath? It's not stuck or fixed, and it is causally arranged. Is it restless or calm? Quality of mind. Is it open, warm, receptive? Maybe guarded, vigilant? And we're really not trying to change this. It's first in its familiarity and its recognition. And then we're trying to abide to see if we can't create space for the familiarity. And then to see its result. What happens with that distracted mind? And can we bring even openness, warmth, compassion, friendliness to that moment? And what happens there? It doesn't look the same. And this quality of mind is the worlds that we reflected on for a moment. These hell realms, the godlike realms, they're understood as constellations of qualities equaling contribution to ease, well-being, or to suffering. And how you relate, how you place, how you awaken to this moment determines, contributes to how the next arises. This is karma, as intention. Noticing the quality of our awareness is one aspect, but then intentioning how to hold it is another. Are we striving? Are we judging? Are we kind? Are we tender? These tones, they're called, are also karma forming. And I talk about this as a kind of friendliness with whatever is arising. Can we at least be friendly, receptive, open? Keeping in mind that karma is not created later, it is created right now with this very intentional quality, this orientation of heart mind. The very relationship between whatever is arising and your capacity, this heart mind's capacity, to recognize it, to be open, to look closer. And then I want you to see how that very impact shapes the next moment. Our very willingness to be friendly or open with whatever is here indelibly changes the next. And every time you notice that particular habit pattern and we can open, awaken, it loosens the karmic grip. And it always makes me smile. Less potential for contracting this moment. And we can even open to the contraction itself by recognizing this and feeling compassion for ourselves. The quality of mind that we're cultivating right now sets the conditions for now. Calm generates calm. Open generates opening. Clarity invites clarity. And then karma is no longer feared, and our rebirth is not predetermined or forced. The mind rests breath by breath in this middle path, this middle way. No longer grasping, and not in denial. And see if we can't notice the continuing karmic intention and also the qualities of the rebirth every breath. What continues? Where is the momentum? And let's be certain then also not to cultivate that as a solid or fixed entity. It's not me, it's processes arising. And then we see the both the privilege and the freedom available each moment. Nothing special we need to do, just noticing that that understanding continues to ripen, to form pattern towards the good. And by this very practice, by this steady awareness, by this friendly intention, may these harmful habits loosen and dissolve. And may these strengths, these resources, these qualities, wholesome, good, may they continue. So be it. So we get the idea? We get the idea. Okay. And so then let's go to our, for a moment, we have about 10 minutes. We had a few, it was so lovely. Lynn wrote me and Marie wrote me, sort of so funny. I was laughing out loud. It was so cute, about being an asshole. And it's just quite delightful and quite the chuckle. The examples were fun and just that we could hold it lightly in some way was amazing. And I don't have too much time to go into it, but what I want to say is really, what are we saying about karma and rebirth in that statement? Don't be an asshole. What are we saying?
Recognition.
Yeah. What are we recognizing?
Ourselves being assholes.
Well, let's be careful about ourselves.
A reaction.
Yes. A momentum, an energy, a continuation of contraction. Maybe we could say.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that kind of work? Now, how would you feel about that if I said, oh, that's that moment of continuing contraction, rather than you're an asshole? How would you experience that differently?
It's less painful.
Yeah, it's less harsh, less painful, less judgy. It certainly isn't coming out of a contractedness in me. right? If I can understand it in that way. And then likely to not result in a contraction in you, but likely maybe an inquiry. Like, what is that? In fact, what are those conditions? What is the quality of my own mind here? What is, right? Where are my fears? Where are, and remember, we're trying to make that both a physical experience by our contractedness and openness, as well as a quality of mind. Am I fearing here? Well, yes, if you're in contraction, in fact, you are. Am I shut down? Am I in grip or rigidity? These are all karmic influences, setting the stage for not only your body, but your quality of mind. And then in our new medicine, we say that the quality of one disease impacts the other, that the quality of the disease of mind, dis-ease of mind, impacts and will cultivate disease in the body. And we know this to be true. We know this to be true, right? And so we don't want to cultivate distress, rigidity, closedness, pain, suffering. We don't want to. And so can we, in the practices we're going to talk about now, cultivate this recognition, says Robin, and then a certain friendliness in the recognition, and by the very friendliness, a certain opening, and just what? For now, holding in awareness, right? Because that karmic propagation equals a certain wealth, right? Every moment of opening in response to the moment of contractedness or reaction is changing that whole karmic field. And then what? This next moment of rebirth, the very moment you're in rebirth. And look at the power of that. Look at the power of that. It's dramatic. I'm going to look at chat and then we're going to look at our practices this week. Chat's just not being friendly with me for a second. So let me see if I can't pull up this for us here. Can I move you over maybe? Oh, I see. Here we go. Let's try it this way. Nope. Doesn't want to. Here we go. Yes, Dennis, we did talk about that on Saturday. The monks are here at Seaside Church up in Oceanside, right? I don't think they're here. I think they're up there. All right, let me get this for us. It's going to take a little practice. We're going to go over this next week too. So just know we're not. I'm going to see if I got it for us. Here we are. Let's go way back down here. There's the handout I'm not going to be doing anymore because then I got to shorten my notes. Why make work? Here we go. Week 1. Weekly practice and reflection guide. We're going to divide it, but this is week 1. Week 1 is seeing karma in real time. Seeing karma in real time, not the thing to come, the thing occurring now. Remember, very grounded in the present moment. About 10 minutes a day, 20 if you can get to it. Your practice is yours. I trust you're doing what can work for you. This intention as karma and karma as intention. Remember, grounded first there, not in the actions, not in the thoughts, not in the speech, but in the very seed of intention. I want you to sit quietly like we just did and notice the tone of your heart mind, just like we did. Is it striving? Is it easeful? Is it restless? Is it kind? Is there an openness, a ease, a calm? Is there a contractedness, a weight, a heaviness, a burn? Remember, without judgment, we're just looking at tone of mind. That is a karmic imprint. Karmic imprint. It is not just a mood, because then we just tend to throw them away, like get out of that bad mood. Well, it is karmic imprint. Can we recognize the quality and tone of that mind and then ask ourselves, what intention is present right now? And what do I want that to be? What's the intention? Can I hold it? Can I open to it? Can I be receptive, allowing, friendly, tender, right? What's my intention? And then what? No need to change it. Remember, we get in these results oriented fights about I've got to get out of that, or I can't keep that, or it's already different. By that very placement of inquiry, the very placement of the intention to open and recognize, you have already changed it. And I want you to just rest with that a moment and feel the effects. Recognizing what's the mood, attitude, what's the container that this thought is being held in, because there's no such thing as a dangerous thought held in loving presence. Is there? No such thing as a dangerous thought held in loving presence. Cannot be. You're just going to go thought arising. I'm in distress. That's it. And now the focus goes exactly karmically where it belongs, to me. How do I take good care of me right now as I'm experiencing this? Okay, we get the idea. I'll send this to you if you don't. You might have it on your handout. Then the other one is this is a big one. This is the informal practice. Pause before responding. Pause. We have to keep practicing the pause. If you don't know how you are, you're just going to plaster that particular condition, karmically and otherwise, all over the world. Remember, ripple, right? Like the machine gun effect that it in fact is. If you notice a mild distress, that contractedness, can we take a moment, breathe space around it, hold it tenderly with friendliness? Can we ask the question, what do I notice? What's happening? Can I notice the symptoms, the sensations that are arising right now? And what's my present moment intention? What do I want from this? And remember, we're not looking for big changes. We're looking for subtle changes called, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to soften my face. I'm going to work on just releasing the grip in my belly. I'm going to, rather than think he's an asshole, think I'm in a moment of distress. Would change everything. I'm in a moment of distress. And from that awareness, how is the experience changed? Because it is. You have shifted the karmic repetition, right? The whirlpool that gains momentum, energy, and weight into a whole other possibility. This is big. It's not a small thing. You're going to notice that some habits, I notice it in me, you'll notice it in you, have greater propensity. Like they're just there. And you go, I didn't even want that to happen. I wasn't thinking. There it just was. I said it that way. It came out with that strident voice or that tightness or with the being an asshole quality. It got away from me. A moment that I can now be mindful of. I can now be friendly with. I can now drop back into the body and feel what's there. One breath. One breath practice is the most amazing practice because it becomes a lifetime. One breath at a time. Okay, we're going to work on that. That's week 2. We don't have to think about that. Both formal and informal practices. This is very consistent then with our don't be an asshole practice. So what I'm going to do for this week, and I'll set it up. I'm going to have a jar here for every time you're an asshole and you recognize it, you get to take something from the jar. You get to take something from the jar, whatever that is. You'll already have something. So you may not need to. But every time you are an asshole and you miss it, you're going to put something in it, because that alone is going to change your karmic debt. And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Give $1 to somebody. Just hand it to them. Say, take this. I was just an asshole. They're going to laugh. So are you. It's going to be a very good thing. Right? Can you imagine what would change with that one thing? With that one thing. The recognition itself. And then rather than pay the karmic debt, I'm going to pay you. Freeing myself. This is called liberation from that very debt by paying my dues rather than just going, well, let's blow that. Nope, here you go. We're going to start that in our house with our jar. I happen to have a very large one. Got a very large jar. Got a very large jar. This comes from Greg's little practice with his wife, and I loved it. And I think there's something important in it, a certain kind of playfulness, right, and recognition and a gentleness. And I think we all need the mulligans anyway. I think we all need the let me throw a quarter and let's start over. Then to now carry the weight and then the debt of it with us. So doesn't that sound fun? I thought it was a great idea. I think we'll have it here on Saturdays. I'll have my Don't Be an Asshole jar. You can take something out of it or put something in it. Not without the story. And again, Lynn and Marie both inspired me by telling theirs. And by the way, freeing themselves in the very telling, right? Which is, I saw it. I got it. And rather than just play it out, I actually can talk about it, report it, and then make, hopefully, a transition of some kind. How do I write this wheel? All right. I'm going to look at chat one more time and then we'll say the prayer. Okay. All right, let's say our prayer. Thank you so much for hanging on with me. And then just taking a nice big breath. Letting go of all that karmic debt. Just being here. Smiling with the body. Freeing the mind. Opening the heart. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge, for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. May we all have happiness and propagate its causes. May we be free from suffering and reduce our contributions to suffering. May we rest in this vast, open, and infinite possibility for contributing to the good, contributing to the end of suffering, in doing so not only for ourselves, but for all beings. May we rest and dwell in this vast, open, infinite, awakened heart mind, recognizing our capacity to love, to contribute, to be of benefit. And may we commit ourselves again and again to that end. And may our practice be of benefit, and may it continue until all beings are happy and free. Look at that possibility. May you enjoy it, may you use it well, and may we all benefit. Thank you so much. I will send out my notes to you from now on, easier. They'll be bigger, and you guys will plow through them in the way you can, because it'll one less step for me. Oh, yay. I love that. Let's see, what do we have coming Saturday in the garden with Deb Martin, who will be here at 8:15 from Elder Help. Just saw Deb last night, how we were at a lovely Christmas concert event, and she's very excited to come and tell you about how she's contributing, what she's trying to do in her organization towards keeping elders in their homes and helping give them contact, connection, animals. They feed the animals. We may contribute to animal food, pet food for these folks who often only have an animal, no people in their lives. It's a very big deal, and I think we can make an impact there. I'm very excited about it. Get your asshole jar out. Remember, real contribution and real consequence. I'm going to have to pay something for this one. I'm actually going to benefit something from this. I think to the extent that we can make this all real is going to be of a much bigger benefit to us. Yeah, yes, I will send those useful notes. I'm glad. And forget the handout. These are a little better. All right, everyone, be well. Good to see you all. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday or this Saturday, the 20th. And I know we're in the middle of Hanukkah. We're getting ready for Christmas. Real opportunity to make a contribution larger than any physical gift.
And we're having a talk on the trip, Nepal trip.
The Nepal trip, we're meeting tonight on Zoom at 5:15, this very website. So this very Zoom meeting. So join us at 5:15 to talk about the Nepal trip and some options for that trip. Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Be well.